On March 11 of this year, I received my CAR T transplant. What is CAR T transplant? Well, CAR stands for chimeric antigen receptor, and the T part is your T cells from your body. But prior than getting my CAR T transplant in March, my doctor had ordered to collect my T cells, in which it was a fairly easy process because I already had a port put in my chest prior to the collection. The collection took about 3 to 4 hours max. It was a simple, painless process. Very small amount of T cells were collected. They were shipped out to the lab where the CAR part was going to be added into the T cells. It took about 3 to 4 weeks. Once they were sent back to me or to the hospital as CAR T cells, I had to receive some chemo. I did receive chemo for 3 days in a row. I was going into the hospital on Monday, which was the March 10. So I had to receive chemo for 3 days, in which it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For about 4 hours, it was a mild dosage of chemo, but my doctor wanted to lower my immune system so the new T cells, when they come in, my body would not attack the CAR T cells and eliminate them. It will give enough room for those CAR T cells to work in and do the job that they're supposed to be doing. They become your special forces in your immune system. They're going to go out and attach themselves to the cancer cells and kill whatever remaining cancer cells I may have in the body. Now, I did have some footage while I was getting my transplant in the hospital. I did not like how those videos came out. So I'm just gonna go over the process, explain it. It's a very simple process. Once the CAR T cells are back in the hospital for your transplant, you will be admitted like I was a day before. The next day comes your T cell transplant. And you get about 2 nurses that come in. A doctor checks you out. They monitor you from head to toe. I had a heart monitor, blood pressure, you name it. They kept checking you out to make sure that I was not going to get any reaction towards accepting the CAR T cell transplant. Now, I did say it took about couple hours total. It was not a painful process. It was a fairly easy process. The CAR Ts go in about a half hour. They are infused. They look like Slurpee going into your body. Going fairly easy. I did not feel anything. Now, that does not mean that if someone else is going to get a transplant of CAR T, it's not going to have a side effect. I did not. I did not feel anything or any of the effects of the CAR T till a couple days. I will go more in detail in other videos, but this one is just my transplant day I'm going over. Like I said, the process was fairly quick. I did not feel anything. I felt fine. My stomach was fine. I didn't even feel anything from the chemo itself. 2 or 3 days later, it was a different story, but the first 24 hours, they kept monitoring me, making sure that I was doing good, in which I did. No issues, no rejections, no fevers, no diarrhea, no brain issues or any whatsoever. Now, the chemo did bother me a little bit 2 or 3 days later on my stomach. I was not really, how could I say, sick to my stomach, but I felt my stomach uneasy. I did not want any food for a few days. I kind of did lose my appetite from the chemo 2 or 3 days later. But other than the chemo, I did not have any side effects. I was able to sleep that night, no problems. I was able to handle the CAR T transplant. It's a fairly easy, painful process. I was still in the hospital for another 15 days. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Now, I did get some side effects, but like I said, I'm going to add some other videos later because I don't want to make these videos way too long and get you bored. So I'd rather make the videos in different sections so you get the information that you need and you're able to understand it better. But CAR T was a fairly easy process. What comes after is different. We're all different. I don't know how the collection will go for you. For me, it was simple. The chemo was simple. And the transplant was simple. Now, it did remind me of my first transplant that I had 5 years ago where they did my stem cells. That was a whole different approach, a lot more chemo for that. You get for 5 or 6 days, you get chemo where they completely shut out your immune system. That's the autologous transplant. Totally different. For this transplant, very little chemo, very short, easy. They do lower your immune system, but you still have some issues from the chemo after. But both are pretty much similar, different effects. But so far, I'm happy with the results of my CAR T transplant. I did, like I said, went through some issues, but I'll do that in the next video. If you like my content, please hit the like button, subscribe. Let's make this channel grow. I'm all about growing the channel, helping people give the information that they need for their cancer journey. I make these videos for you. And remember, you are stronger than you think. Remember that, because you are. Cancer is a winnable battle. I'm here 6 years later from the first time I was diagnosed with stage 4 mantle cell lymphoma. And I'm still here and I'm still battling, and I plan to be here a lot longer. So remember, you are stronger than you think. Please share these videos with other people that may need it. And again, I'll see you in the next video.